Hello, beautiful artisans. Happy Friday. Here we are already on Friday and in the middle of July. It's crazy. It's just time is flying. I hope everyone's having a beautiful summer. If you need to take a break from your artwork and get out there, walk on the beach and get the fresh air, go for it. We only have a short season, especially anyway in Vermont. But so today I'm really excited because I'm going to show you how I make my hats with the quilted with the lining, quilted lining. Easy peasy. So all you have to do is construct the hat. So you cut out your circle. Now I am working with fabrics that have the pockets. So I will be sewing, making sure the pocket is all sewn in, as I don't want it to be kind of open like that. So just so it doesn't get caught on anything. And so but the decor of the pocket is just adorable. You can't beat that. So I'm going to show you in the very next clip. I'll show you the fabrics that I'm working with. And I will tell you, honestly, I have not a clue on the designs. Now, I do have all of my petals out, and I think I'm going to go with a rainbow, at least for one of the hats. But I may begin abstract with some bright, bold colors. I'm not sure. But what we'll do is we will first get all our designs sewed on to our crown and to our panels. So these are like 5.5 by 5.5. And so first I design and construct these, and then we build our hat. So from there, anyway, that's what we're going to do. So everyone. So as I was designing earlier today, I designed this coin bag. I'm going to put this down and show you. So let's see. I think I designed it to go this way. But look how adorable that is. So this is a different type of fabric than this and this. And I'm not done with it. I'm just playing around with it. But now the fabrics that were just gifted to me recently, so each piece is like this. That comes from this piece. So it's kind of wrinkly. Every single piece had a tag on it, 100% cotton. So what I did now, so I don't have much of it, but I certainly have plenty to make a hat. Now, to mix it with some of the other fabrics I have, the weight is very different. This is definitely a heavier, more layered cotton, woven cotton fabric piece than these. These are very thin. So staying with this, probably what I might do is take some of the other pieces gifted and kind of mix them in with this design a little bit. So I'm kind of playing around with that right now. But it's always, this is kind of vintage, and we were thinking actually the piece itself might be vintage. So this will be so much fun to create. So we'll see what we can. And so I had gone through this bag a little bit, found a few more pieces that I really love, that I want to be part of this project maybe. So, and a few more of these. So I was super happy to find that. When you're working with small patches, it's the tiny little scraps, they're totally sufficient. So let's see. I made a little stack of these earlier because I was using them for my coin bags. So this is how I feel like I want to design this particular project, this hat. So what I'm going to do, I just feel like I'm going to take these pieces and just lay them out on each panel. Now, I love this kind of torn look like that with the pocket. I mean, that's just seriously, I mean, like I said, a lot of these for me in my world, the designs um take a life of their own on. That's the only way I can explain it. Um and it is certainly just the energy, that you feel. So let's see. So I've got two there. And I'm kind of gravitating towards these first. With the seams. If I can get seams, I'm just loving that. I feel like this piece, I really maybe want to put a couple of these. I don't know, but that's what I'm going to do. So the theme is here. Basically that the dominant designs are the same type of fabric, and it's coming from a whole, but the pieces in themselves are making their own whole kind of design. So now I don't see my green, and I feel like I really, really want that green. Now look at this. This is a totally different piece, but it's linen. And I would love this to be part of the design. So I'm going to actually put this here, and I just felt like that should go there for some reason right now. So I'm loving that. I'm loving it. And this one, I kind of feel like I love this. I want to showcase this design. And maybe this isn't the project for it, because it's kind of, but this, maybe this, but that doesn't really go either, kind of how I was thinking. Now, this does. This is just precious. I love the black and white. I mean, it is such a classy design. Now, this almost too much might, no, I guess that's going to be okay. I think this will be all right here. I kind of want to get a little bit of what they call the stacking effect. And I think that's what I'm trying to do here. Maybe like that. I like that. Whoops. So I'll hold this up so you can see. But now that just kind of flowed. And this could be changed about in a number of ways. And I'll tell you what, it would still look just absolutely beautiful. And the reason is the designs. I kind of feel like this checkered needs to be a little more up here. I don't know. I feel like that. So I'm going to go ahead. I like to move things around and see what that effect is, because sometimes it just jumps right out at you. And I'm liking that there. So I'm going to leave that like that. And this one, let's see here. I really do like that. Sometimes the pieces need to be a little bit smaller also. That I can't even tell you how many times I've made the pieces, or I've taken a piece, just made it a tiny bit smaller, and what a difference. It's like unbelievable. Like I can't even explain it. So I really like that there. So for the moment, that's where I'm leaving that. And you know what? If you change your mind, that's perfectly okay. You can change your minds. It is not, the beautiful thing is, it is not set in stone on how something has to be. it's just not set in stone. Now, I'm loving this, and I want this to be, I'm going to save all my little pieces, but I want this to be, let's see, in the middle, and I'm loving this like that. I don't know. For the moment. And running out of my pins. So here's some designs. Look at these. This is going to be, and you know, when we build the hat, there's definitely then some things. Oh, there's the red. I was looking for that orange red. Orange red or a deep coral is many times hard to find. So I'm so happy to have this. I feel like this is silk screen too. I'm not sure. But I'm super happy to have that. And that's a two-tone piece. So what I want to do, I keep feeling like I want that checker kind of like in there or over to the side a little bit. And this is a lovely, lovely, lovely. That's brown and white polka dots, brown and white. But let's see here. We got a little bit more of this moon. I don't want the moon on every single panel, but I want it there. I want it there somewhere. So yeah, I like this moon. I'm going to put that there, and maybe I'm going to do another little stacking effect. And kind of look, my hands just kind of turned like that. So I kind of like that being a little on the mend, on the side like that. So okay, so now with that, we have, let's see here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We have our 4 panels. I'm thinking 5 might be the magic number. So, do I have another oh, I don't have another square like that. Oh, but I do here. I have this piece that I am utilizing. Oh, look at that piece I have there of the checkers. Yeah. Oh, I do. I have them right in front of me. And you notice I keep going for the two-tone. Now, something about this fabric is it was sewn here in plastic. So look, that's plastic. Now, I could find something for that. I don't know what yet, but I'm going to put this on here. And so far, I've kind of kept I'm going to turn that a little bit like that. And look at this, it's almost the same grays, black and white, almost the same. I'm loving it. So I'm not going to use my moon, but this is a different polka dot fabric. This is completely different. I just kind of want to pull this one up here. And so you can see the difference. Now, I think I can still go ahead. I got a piece that's already cut here. And that's got a nice seam on it. I'm loving that. And I'm going to add this here to the piece like that. I feel like that's too big still, so I'm going to cut it out on an angle. Actually liking that better. Now, what's going to happen though when I sew that? It's going to actually pull in a little. So it will be good to kind of test these. I am not constructing these before I figure out what my design is looking like. I'm not going to put anything in stone. I'm loving this right here. Oh, I love, love, love that. So, okay. Now in the next clip, we're gonna start sewing them, and then we're gonna sew the top. I don't think I'm putting any fabrics on the crown. So for this particular one. So I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee because I feel a little scratchy and I want to be able to keep doing this video. So everyone. So before we go ahead with the designs, I decided to add seams to them. I had remembered I really wanted some remnants of jean seams to be part of these designs. So as you know, um, I have a whole bin of these. So I'm just going through them and I'm adding some designs here and I'm just doing it kind of randomly. And that one will look lovely up here. And I say up there because if I put it down here, which I could, this is already a seam. And I kind of feel like I even want a little bit more on some of these. So, and that's the beauty of kind of stepping away and then coming back and kind of taking another look. It's like, okay, you see different perspectives, if you will. So this is going to be towards the bottom. And you kind of want to think like that a little bit because at the bottom, I usually add seams like this. I'll add a long piece of seam to the bottom. So I kind of think a little bit about my design. If I do put it really, really close down there and, I forget, so, I could lose part of it. It's totally not the end of the world, right? Um, but let's see here. Yeah, I think that's good. I kind of like this over here and that one there. Maybe like that. See how I change like that? It's like I was totally happy with it. Within a nanosecond, I decided to turn it around and put it. What this is. Wow, do I need pins? Now I did buy pins, and I really should. Here they are. They're right in front of me, actually. Oh no, that one's already bent. Let's see here. See how fast that happens? So, okay, so I am adding these seams. I love that. And yeah, that's really good. This one's not. I got to pin that again. There we go. Yeah, those are good. But when I looked at it, I'm like, it is lovely, but I would like to have just a little bit more going on there. This piece, when the seams get into like a knot, it's very difficult to use those, but I do keep them because I do end up using them. And it's kind of odd, but I do use them. This is another thing when you get tiny little pieces like this of denim, you can use those. You're going to see just how many things I use these seams in. I really like that there. I don't like that one there. And let's see. That's just gorgeous. There's another little one for me to use. Okay. That's lovely. So there's 3. And this one is just so cute. This almost looks like a flag, which I didn't mean to make it look like. It just came out like that. But we're going to add a little bit more decor to that one now, too. And let's see if I have any other seams that might work. I do. I have this one. And that's a little too long. You can tell the look and the vibe that you're looking for. The seam just might be too long. And this has seams here. So that's kind of why maybe, oh yeah, maybe on top there like that. That will work beautifully. Okay, so now mind you, when we sew these seams, we have to slow down with the sewing machine. If you're hand stitching them, they you want to be super careful you don't end up pulling your muscles because they're quilted, so you're actually going through a few more um, layers there. Now let's see, will the seam work on this one? A little bit maybe here. Um, I'm not getting, that's not the right seam. I'm feeling, let's see if I can find one that I'm thinking of or that I feel looks right. I don't know, that kind of, it doesn't really pop either. Oh, maybe it's just that way. So it goes that way. There's a seam, so that might be a little bit of what's going on with the eye. So it go up a little bit. That might work. So, and maybe even on an angle. Yeah, I like that a little better right there. So, okay, I wanted to add the seams. And okay, and next, now we're going to start. Hey, hi everyone. So I am enjoying a hazelnut New England coffee, and it is so good, especially when you've been working for a number of hours. And so I want to show you this. This is how I sewed the crown. This is stipple stitching, and well, kind of a stipple stitching, right? But so I'm going to add more of these and I may just go in circles, but because of time I just wanted to show you, like, give you some ideas that you can use the stitching just like with your sashiko stitching or visible hand stitching. You can make really pretty designs. You can do the same thing with your sewing machine. So I just want to put this down and lay these out again before we sew them, because you will notice. So let's just take a look here. This is going to be the bottom, I believe, there. I just kind of want to see how my eye, how things flow. Now this piece is bigger. This is bigger, and I'm leaving it bigger for the moment. And so, that's lovely. I mean, that does. You want to make sure. So, something I learned when I was a kid from an artist in New York City. It was my mom had lots of artist friends, and this guy was top notch. I mean, Romir Bearden. If you look him up, you might just see him on the internet. But he said to me when I was a real little kid, I was maybe barely 10. And he said, when you look at a picture, your eye has to flow. So I always remembered that. And I look at it. Now, do I know exactly the technicalities and study and all the names? No. But I do know this. If my eye isn't flowing, like, then the energy is not flowing, most likely. So, okay, so we'll start sewing. I'm going to put my coffee over here. And now I don't have any rhyme or reason necessarily to my sewing, except that I'm very, very careful. And I feel like the seam on this I might approach first. So I'm careful about that. I always put my needle way up. I put the foot up. I may take the foot off if I feel like it's obscuring my vision. And I can take the needle out or the pin. Now, you can do a couple of things. You can sew past the seam and make designs on your panel, whichever way you want. But one thing you want to take into consideration is that when you're sewing your design on, sew it on with the stitches and the way that you want it. But when you put your backing on or your lining, you probably, in my opinion, you can do it two ways. A lot of people will say you want to stay just on the seams. You can put a few stitches in the middle. You don't, in my opinion, you don't want to put too many, because maybe when the hat wears out a little bit and whatnot, those stitches maybe they're felt on the forehead or whatnot. That's the only consideration I would draw caution to. So, okay, so I'm going to sew this in, just get the design on. I love to play with stitches. I love to look at the design that it's giving me, and I love to do the outline in a very whimsical kind of manner. And that technique is very, in my opinion, it's just so adoring. It's just so alluring. And it's not difficult to do. It's not difficult at all. What I'm kind of doing is a little design of my own within the design. And I'm playing around with it that way. So, get all the stitches off here. I just want to show you, and then we'll go ahead and put some music on as I stitch. Now I'm going to work on this a little bit more, but you can see how the stitches kind of step out and make their own little design. So I think that's adorable. So I'm going to go ahead, I might sew that a little bit more, and I'm going to go ahead and sew these, and then we will pin them to the crown, and you'll see how it all comes together. Oh no, before we do that, actually, no, we're not going to pin them to the crown. What we have to do is put our lining on. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, everyone. So I finished sewing the panels. So I want to show you what they look like. All sewn, and this one I already cut the backing out, but I'm going to show you the front. Now I want to show you the back. See all of those stitches. So a couple things. You want to make sure there's nothing loose. If there is, clip it, get it off, and just kind of tidy it up a little bit. Now, all of these stitches, if you didn't put a lining, these might in time affect the forehead, you know, the skin, the scalp of the person, because as the fabric wears, these may become a little more prominent. So putting a backing onto it, let's see, I had it this way. giving it a backing is giving it a lining. This is a lining. Now, when I do this, I sew, and I'll show you in a moment, I will sew the edges. And that's it. I'm not going to go all in the middle. If I do, you know, maybe an X, you could do an X, as long as it's not excessive stitching, like externally or something, you know, like this that's against their skin. So let me show you each one as they came out. I think I love these. So this is the way they're going to go. This is the bottom. And we're going to sew that on. Now these for me, I was just, this isn't the way that the backing, the lining is going to go. It's going to go like this so that the pretty side shows. But I just put those on because these pieces, I actually want to sew more. So before I put the lining, but I did want to share these with you. So that's what these all look like. This one needs to be sewn more and tidied up a little bit. So I'm loving the design all in all. So now I'm going to sew this, and then we're going to go ahead. I will show you just how easy and wonderful this is. Now, and I'll talk to you a little bit about the fabric choice, because that's, I believe, super important. So I am putting the needle just about 1/8 of an inch from the margin. That's all I'm doing. And then turning. Whoops, I got to get up a little farther there. And staying about 1/8 of an inch. Super simple. If you have to go around twice, that's okay. If you feel like you have to go around 3 times, that's okay. As long as you're staying on the edge, and because that's where you'll be connecting your panels, is on the edge. And you see how simple that is. So when each piece, including your crown, has its lining, that's it. Now what you can do is you take your model head. Now I'm going to just take these pieces off for the moment so I can show you. Just for those, some of you have seen this. You've seen me construct the hat, and some of you haven't. So for those of you who are new on board, so each piece now will have its lining, just like this. You'll have put it on separately, each piece, including your crown. And then when you're ready to build your hat, take your model and you put it right up, pin it to the model. Now, and you're going to go around your edges here, make sure they're all closed. Now, the worst thing that can happen is you have all your panels and you're like, oh my God, it's too short. Excuse me, I don't have enough panels. So you make another panel. You design another panel. So now we can use the pinch effect or put it over. So here, let me show you. We can use, you've seen the pinch effect. That's where I'm pinching it. Or you can just overlap. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're simply going to overlap. And it's not really too different, but it is slightly different. The effect and the way you connect. So going around, so here I'm going to, this one doesn't have a seam. This does not have a seam. This is the one with the pocket, and I wanted it kind of that way. This one has a seam. This is the wider one. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one right on. I like the little contrasting. So I'm going to be overlapping it and pinning it a little bit to this one. And I'm going to go actually under, and I'll turn this around and show you what I mean. But first, I'm going to get it pinned to the crown. And this is where the model head comes in really good, because if you need it to kind of hold it in place, you can actually just pin the whole thing right to the head until you have it the way you want it. Now these two panels, I'm going to completely pin. Okay, and I'm going to show you that. See, I overlapped this one over to this one because this one had a little more room. It didn't have a design. If I overlapped this to this, it would have hidden the design. So that's how I did that. And then I just pinned it right up on top of the crown. Now you're probably saying, well, Carmella, you're taking away in inches, you're taking away measurement by doing that. Now, I'm doing it probably at the very most 1/8 of an inch, and that's probably the amount of measure that is affected when we pinch it. So it's not really creating a huge difference. So now I'm going to pick another one, and this I'm being aware that my seam is on the bottom. That's where I want it. And I'm going to go ahead, and with this design, I'm going to put this one on top of that. I'm going to overlap that and then pin them in place. Mind you, each of these pieces have their backing or their lining on them. So it's a nice quilted piece is what it is, really. It's really quilted. And we pin this together. Now, as I pin these, I like to think of this always as a rough draft. I always think of it as a little bit of, now my work is rough anyway. I had a nickname when I was a kid. I think it was Ruffian. I mean, you know, I used to like to play football with my brothers. There was nothing easy that I did. But let's see here. This pin is giving me troubles. Okay, so I'm going to overlap that. I'm loving this hat. I'm going to tell you. Is it Boro Sashiko? Definitely Boro Inspired. There's no way around that. We're piecing together and using building methods and design methods inspired by Boro. So now look, I have 2 pieces left. Is this going to work? Totally. If it doesn't, I'd take a skinny piece and add it. No problems. And you're like, well, wait a minute. That doesn't go with the flow. It doesn't go with the design. It does. It's okay. It works. I've done it. So now, let's see. I just want to show you something before we go forward. Look, this is the piece with the lining. Okay, this hat is going to be adorable. It just is. This piece is not done in my mind. There's something about it, maybe because it doesn't have the orange or the coral, and I feel like we need to add that. So, okay, we're going to pin this. This one, let's see here. Now, as you do these, when you are, whether you're machine sewing them on or hand sewing them on, you want to be very mindful of the pieces when you come to your corners and connecting them. You want those corners to have a nice overlap. If you're pinching them, you want it to have a good amount of fabric that is pinched. You don't want to go chintzy on that, because if you do, your hat will fall apart. You need to have that 1/8 of an inch. You need to make sure you have a good amount of stitches. So you need to take that extra little time to make sure it's sewn beautifully. I love this right now. Now, look, the other thing you could do, you could overlap like I'm doing up here from the crown, and here on your sides you can pinch. You can do that too. So, okay, and I'm going to turn this just a tiny bit there. Okay, so that's coming along. Let's see. Will we make it with this last one? Yeah, pretty much. Because what I'm going to do, let me start here. So I just want to show you that. Look, can I just kind of like... I can't help it. Every time I get to this point, I'm like, that's a hat. I mean, I could put a little tiny, like I could fold this and just make a little bang like that, like little bangs. So, okay, I'm going to pin this. Now, am I going to be off a little bit? I don't think so. I mean, I overlapped, and this is just going to fit. But when I come back around, and I'm going to probably have a few, so I'm going to, yeah, this is totally fine. So I just want to pin it to my crown and then fine tune it. This one, so if you look at this, right, this design has more at the bottom here. Has more space, I mean, at the bottom. So I'm going to turn that around because I'd like that design to really show. I want to showcase that a little bit. So I'm going to focus on my areas, my corners, and make sure this is on nicely. Now see, my corner did not grab there with just the pin. So I'm going to first do the sides and then come back up and do my pin, my crown. And I do believe this is going to be a lovely fit. Yeah. And this side, what I will do is overlap because I have space. And then the one I'll show you in a moment, the one I'm overlapping has design. So it also has a seam that I'm going to have to be very mindful about because right now I'm having trouble okay, there we go. So, okay, so this hat, let me just move this around a tiny bit. This hat will have to be finagled a tiny bit over here. Whoops, the pin is slipping. So this is the thing. If your pins are not in place, you kind of want to look at that a little closer, because if the pins are slipping, it could be, and I'm going to show you here why. I can see exactly why. There's a seam. So this piece has to be really well into place. So we're going to do that, but this is lovely. So you can always put a couple of pins in place there. And we'll get this. Now this is very rough. It's in the making. It's WIP. But you can tell, and I'll show it to you when it's done. You can tell how beautiful this hat is going to be. You can see it. Now, the crown will need to be paid attention to a little bit extra right here where the seam is. And I can see that right there. I see that I had to put an extra pin or two. But that will be fine. So anyway, I hope that that gives you a good idea on how to construct a hat, making the lining as part of the panel. So, and I hope you had fun designing with me today. I appreciate you being with me. Now, mind you, you know me, when I get to this part of the hat, I usually add something, whether it's a few little seams like this to even it out a little bit, give it a little more artistic flair. But I will share with you what this beautiful hat looks like upon completion. So with that, I hope that you have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being with me, and I'll see you on the next one.